Good evening. Happy Sunday evening on Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, where we celebrate freedom, where we celebrate where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "I choose love. Hate is too great a burden to bear." Do you know, so often we follow someone else's definition of what success is. We compare ourselves to others and their performances. We compare ourselves to other people's goals and different timelines that society puts on us, and it leads to an inaccurate assessment of who we are. And due to the lack of our inner work inside, our behaviors, they don't always align with what we really want in our life. I've spent most of my life wanting to be dead, afraid to die, and scared to live. I invite you over the next several weeks to take a journey with me from that of Rev.Dr. Damian Calmett, Doctor of Spiritual Science, to that of Miss Dee Calmett. Yes, I'm beginning hormone treatments, have begun them, and at 74 years old, making a transition from male to female. That didn't come lightly. My mental state didn't come lightly. There's a lot of mental chatter swirling around in my head. I had to start paying attention. Do you know, when I was, maybe 3 years old, when my birth name was Stephen, a little girl, I was playing with the little black girl. She wanted me to be her mother. And she introduced me to her mom, and she says, "Mama, this is my girlfriend Stevie. She's a girl. She just looks like a boy." I never saw my little friend again after that. I don't know whether it was because I was white or because I was a girl in a boy's body. I said, I don't know. I've been a girly boy without even realizing it. When I was young, there was a lot of abuse that happened sexually, emotionally, physically, to the point that I quit speaking for 6 or 7 years and had to be taught how to speak again. Did I have to do part of it? I don't know. When I was locked in the closet by my mother and she would go away for weekends and I was alone, I remember in my imagination that this little girl in the closet with me, she'd say, "Stevie, I'm here with you. I'm never going to leave you. I'm here with you." Did it come from that? I don't know. I began to try to put together and understand some of the internal messages that have been driving my behaviors. I was married to a woman. My marriage was chosen to me because I had a TV ministry and had a ministry team, and people thought I was gay. I was 29. I thought gay was happy. I didn't know gay was a sexual group. I was naive, living in a bubble. And then after my divorce, in my 30s, I began to be in the gay community. I didn't fit. I didn't fit the religious community. I didn't fit the gay community. I didn't fit anywhere. The only place I could fit was doing drugs to hide the pain that was going on inside of me, to hide the hatred, hide the rage inside of me, because I didn't know who I was. Still, I'm finding out who I am at this age. Do you know, we've got to look at the internal messages inside of us. Without understanding what's going on inside of us, we become a victim of faulty wiring, and we receive wiring from our family of origin. We receive beliefs that are rules that are driving our decision, but they're really not our decision. Look at society. For so many years, society said that gay people were mental illness, and now look, gay marriage. Some of you don't agree with it. Well, don't marry the same sex then. Some of you didn't agree when a black and white or different interracials could marry. Well, then don't marry one. We don't have to agree on everything. From a spiritual standpoint, God is love. God is creator. I don't want you writing me and saying, God created Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. I've heard it all. I want you to be with an open mind, being able to begin to understand humanity and human need. Do you know, the media has done such a disservice to the transgender community. You see the media and they portray transgender people as deviant. They portray transgender people as, well, for instance, and I love Jim Carrey. He's a fabulous comedian. But remember that movie that he's in, and he says that the girl used to be Ray. She was a convict. And you see where he strips her blouse open, and you can see her breast. And then he pulls her pants down, and her pants, she's so tucked you can see the part of her vagina, but then her friend calls and says, look behind, and you can see her John Kane out in the back, and he turns around, and all the cops begin to puke. We begin to puke as a society when we see transgender, especially men to women, transgender women to men. In some ways have it easier because the testosterone kicks in, and you begin to have the facial hair, and you begin to work out, you begin to get the muscles. There's a Netflix program that I watched the other night, which is called Disclosure, which talks about the aspects of transgender, both male and female, black and white. It's a very educational film. So, what am I saying? So often we are adhering to outdated social norms, outdated that don't really affect us, and we try to go with them because it's the thing to do. But we're not really connected to our own truth. I've always acted like I do. I was married to a man for a while. I've never felt gay, but I've felt attracted to men. But my former husband, who actually married me to get papers, he says, you're such a woman, the way you do things, the way you care about me, the way you make sure dinner's ready, your mannerisms, different things. And I never dressed when I was married. We only married for a couple years, lived together only 2 months. But only once did he see me dressed, and it was on a Halloween. He said, how do you walk in those heels? I said, it's natural for me. I used to do shows with a band and sing in a wig and lashes. And when I stopped doing that, I knocked my front teeth out walking in tennis shoes one day going to the gym because I was so used to walking in heels. You can work hard at changing your life, but unless you change your emotional state, then we regress back into old habit patterns. Self-awareness means really knowing who you are. It's important, ladies and gentlemen, to become aware of your emotions, become aware of your thoughts, become aware of your behaviors. When you're not aware of these, you're not able to make any changes. Why do we have to become aware of emotions? Because our emotions are where our energy is stored. Our energy is stored there. When you feel something strong enough, we store it somewhere inside of us. For instance, if somebody hurts you, you might feel sad for days, for weeks, for even years. And the more we live our lives, the more that feeling still lingers inside. This is where people get stuck. We don't know how to move past negative emotions. In fact, negative emotions, people often think are part of their identity when they're really not. Love is our DNA. So, in this journey that I'm taking, I'm going to take you to the plastic surgeon where we're going to be doing some work. Hopefully my doctor that is helping me with the hormones, will be talking with him. Yes, I would like to get my therapist on it. I would like to talk with some friends of mine that see the difference. So if you're somebody who's thinking you might be transgender, or you know somebody who might be transgender, or you just want more information on transgenderism, please join me on this journey. This journey I'm going to be doing from my Facebook, not my Facebook page, because I don't have that page anymore, from my YouTube channel on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Pacific Standard Time on my YouTube channel. I'm going to cover part of my past, what it's like to grow up. Yes, I have baggage, I have pain. I was left at the hospital when I was born. Went to live with my grandparents right from the hospital. My grandmother was a Pentecostal singer in the Big Tent revivals. I remember Oral Roberts laying hands on people and praying for them while I was in a bassinet on the front row. I remember the tens and 20,000s of people of the early 50s, the charismatic, the Pentecostal movement. I remember when I was younger and when I went to live with my grandparents, if it was fun, food, fashionable, it was considered sin. I remember the restrictions. I also remember going to my grandma's sisters and being in the upstairs attic and playing make-believe, putting on shows for myself, putting wigs and towels around my head and being my own star, being my own audience. And what fun that was. We are here to be the light of the world. Jesus the Christ meaning the enlightened one, said, "You are the light of the world." God, being spirit, knows no boundaries. God is not a man that he should lie. The King James says that. So God is neither male nor female, but God is spirit. And the one thing all across the board spiritual teaching teaches is that God is love. The American Indians call it two-spirited. The Thai people have the girly boys, the girls, and the girly boys, a second, third gender. Shamans around the world actually have both sensitivity to masculine and femininity. Please join me on this journey as we experience and we see who Dee Calmett really is in the integration from Damian Calmett to Dee Calmett. Remember, God does love you, and God sends his love. God is love and creating. It's not about judging you and whipping you.